Hello, everyone. My name is Melissa Torres. I'm currently a communications bachelor completing her master's in organizational leadership here at Colorado State University's Global Campus. Today, I'm here to speak to you about the importance of organizational communication. In addition, I will be talking about teams' best practices for workplace communication. This presentation is based on 4 academic sources, each which elaborates on specific employee communication areas. Before I start, it is important to reveal the 5 sources of management identified by David Conrad. The first one is planning, second one is organizing, third one is staffing, fourth one is leading, and the 5th one is controlling, all which are dependent on communication. David Conrad says that, in fact, in surveys of highly successful managers across the nation, the ability to communicate effectively was identified as the most important skill a manager needs for success. Unfortunately, Conrad also states that studies show that many employees believe their managers are lousy communicators, and managers feel the same way about their employees. As a current employee, I know that employees like to be treated with respect and dignity, and if a manager sets the tone and the content of communication to do this, it will help develop a more productive and supportive workforce. When employees know that the manager is giving valid information and is not withholding information, and is also willing to listen, there is no need for employees to go elsewhere to get information about their company or work duties. With experience, we learned that the manager who is a good listener is more likely to have employees to help him identify and solve work-related problems. It is important to state that bad communication practices cause a majority of work problems, not to mention the problems we face at home or in our personal interactions with others outside of the workplace are all tied to poor communication. We know that communication has matured and morphed over a relatively short period of time, changing from typical face-to-face dialogue to the use of innovative and sophisticated technology designed to increase efficiency and effectiveness. We now use technology such as email, text messaging, social media, and video teleconferencing communication, which has made it easier to communicate, but has also become much less personal and consequently misunderstood, not only in the workforce, but in our everyday lives as well. The first scholarly article that I'm going to speak about today is titled Leadership is a Conversation by Boris Groysberg and Michael Slind. The scholarly article focuses on how leaders manage communication within their organizations, how they handle the flow of information to, from, and among their employees. Groysberg and Slind state that traditional corporate communication must give way to a process that is more dynamic and more sophisticated. Most importantly, a process that must be conversational. This article starts off by identifying that smart leaders today engage employees in a way that resembles an ordinary person-to-person conversation. And as a result, by talking with employees rather than simply issuing orders, leaders can retain or recapture some of the qualities that enable startups to outperform better established rivals. Groysberg and Slind have identified 4 elements of organizational conversation that reflect the essential attributes of interpersonal conversation. The first one is intimacy, second one is interactivity, third one is inclusion, and fourth one is intentionality. As a leader, you need to get to know your employees. And leadership is a conversation. It is stated that where conversational intimacy prevails, those with decision-making authority seek and earn the trust of those who work under the authority. They do so by cultivating the art of listening to people at all levels of their organization and by learning to speak with employees directly and authentically. Interactivity makes the conversation open and fluid rather than closed and directive. The sound of one person talking is not a conversation. Inclusive leaders, by counting employees among a company's official or quasi-official communicators, turn those employees into fledged conversation partners. In the process, such leaders rise the level of emotional engagement that employees bring to a company's life in general. An example of inclusiveness is Coca-Cola. For instance, this company has created a formal ambassadorship program aimed at encouraging employees to promote the Coke image and product line in speech and in practice. The Coke Intranet provides resources such as tools that connect employees to company-sponsored volunteer activities. The centerpiece of the program is a list of 9 ambassadorial behaviors, which include helping the company win the point of sale by taking it on themselves to titty store displays in retail outlets, for example. Also, by relaying sales leads and reporting instances in which retailers have run out of Coke product. The second article I'd like to discuss today is titled Driving Employee Engagement: The Expanded Role of Internal Communications by Karen Mishra, Louise Boynton, and Anil Mishra. This article explains the importance of internal communications and the communication between an organization's leaders and one of its key publics, the employees. According to the authors, the role of internal communication is to illuminate the connections between different pieces of information, and its job is to provide employees with the information they need to do their assigned work. As a result, employees feel more engaged, build trust with their supervisors and the company. Therefore, they're empowered to build relationships with customers on behalf of the organization. In the article, Mishra, Boynton, and Mishra state that internal communication professionals can enhance their role by equipping frontline managers with more effective face-to-face communication skills in order to carry out the organization's communication plans. Throughout this talk, I've been focusing on being a better leader, but what are some ways one can become a better employee? In an article written by John Jacob Barrow and John P. Cotter titled Managing Your Boss, the experts insinuate that if your relationship with your boss is not good, then it is up to you to repair it. But to do so, you'll need to first recognize your boss's strengths, weaknesses, along with their style of leadership, personality, and priorities. This might be tricky for some, but it's not impossible, and it will definitely help you. I would like to conclude this talk by reminding you that an organization's success relies on effective communication, and by once again quoting Groisberg and Slind when they state that it is up to leaders to manage communication within their organization. Essentially, that is how they handle the flow of information to, from, and among their employees. Thank you for listening.